Kalala Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Ba Hashem, Rahakotash. Double honors and blessings to the elders of GMS who rule well, and blessings and salutations to the brothers in the four winds of the earth, pushing his truth in all sincerity. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah. Unto the Akwath who listen, Barakatah as well. Today's lesson.
The war in Ukraine is raging on. Both sides are reporting aerial drone and missile attacks. But a new report has once again reignited the debate of use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. A satellite imagery and aviation data suggests that Russia may be preparing to test an experimental nuclear-powered cruise missile. An analysis by New York Times notices movements of aircraft and vehicles near a Russian base in the Arctic region. The remote base is known for conducting tests of nuclear-powered missiles. Similarly, over the last 2 weeks, U.S. surveillance planes have also been tracked in that area. According to a report by Nuclear Threat Initiative, earlier, between 2017 to 2019, Russia conducted 13 known tests. However, these tests were unsuccessful. U.S. also claims in 2019 an unsuccessful launch killed 7 people. The missile is known as the Burevestnik or SSC X-9 Skyfall. Experts have warned if used during wartime, the missile may destroy large urban areas and military targets. Putin claims these missiles can overpower and outmaneuver existing U.S. defense systems. Russia has shared little about the design of the missile. However, Putin claims the weapon is nuclear-powered, while adding that it can carry a warhead. David Dunn is a professor of international politics in the University of Birmingham. He is now joining us live from Birmingham, England. David, good to see you. Welcome to the show. First of all, what do you make of this report that Russia may be preparing to test an experimental nuclear-powered cruise missile in the Arctic Sea?
Well, as you say, there's nothing particularly new with this system. They've actually been trying to perfect a whole range of exotic new nuclear weapon systems since about 1917. So this is part of their so far unsuccessful attempt to try and prove what is an exotic technology. The thing that makes this interesting is the idea that it would be powered by a secondary nuclear engine inside the missile. It would be launched by a solid-state rocket, and then once it was in the air, it would be powered by this small nuclear reactor. And what that would do is give it a very long endurance. It could fly a very long distance, 14,000 miles, and possibly stay aloft indefinitely due to that technology involved in there. What that gives is really nothing very novel, in that actually Russia has thousands of long-range ballistic missiles that have a much shorter and quicker and more direct flight time. But it adds one piece of exotic technology to their arsenal. Right. So in the event that all their weapons are destroyed, they have a second strike capability with this missile.
David, U.S. claims that the unsuccessful launch in 2019 killed 7 people. How big of a threat are these nuclear missiles, or even tests?
Well, the tests themselves of a system that is clearly proven difficult to make work are a problem, in that whenever you use radiation, there is a risk of that being having an effect in killing people. In this case, the 7 crew that tried to rescue it, or falling on people's heads if it should actually be flown over land or even sea areas where there are shipping. So it's never a great thing to actually use nuclear technology in such a small form and unproved technology. But ultimately, in terms of the threat as a missile, it's no more of a threat than the other systems that Russia has in its arsenal. It's just Russia trying to be experimental and prove other ways of killing people.
David, finally, and I want your brief response to this one. So if the tests are proven, what impact would that have, and what sort of reaction could Russia get from the nuclear agency?
Well, the concern is that it adds further to their arsenal. But actually, in terms of the overall threat that Russia poses, there's nothing really new here. It's just an exotic way of making the warheads fly, and that's of no real concern above Russia's nuclear arsenal as it stands.
David Dunn, thank you very much for all your inputs and for talking to WION Wild is One today.
Thank you.
Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And when ancient historical wars were fought, every battle of the warrior was heard with much confused noise. You heard the confused noise of trumpets, war drums, and battle cries. But you also had the confused noise of the rattling noise of battle formations and of the weapons striking and piercing the shields and armor. In that confused noise, you also heard the screams of the injured and of the dying. But when it comes to this modern day period, the wars shall be fought with deadly propelled rockets, and many soldiers as well as civilians will not even have the time to react in that confused noise of much burning and fuel of fire. It will be too late. At their speed they're coming in, the destructive noise of the missiles shall take them by surprise as they strike all their strategic targets, just as you heard in the video clip. War has begun in its first stages, but the tensions shall gradually grow from this point forward. But that greater war to end all wars will only come in full swing when that CH to the IP is fully implemented. Right now, the nations have tensions and hatred, that's the word, hatred for one another. And we are currently experiencing and living in the time of war. But with that, Kalalah Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS who rule well. Blessings out to those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing this word in all sincerity. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah.